Thousands gathered in Paris on Saturday to oppose the global security bill currently being debated in Parliament. But Tuesday evening, the National Assembly voted in favour of the bill as a whole, having already approved its controversial Article 24, which would ban the publication of images of policemen with the intent to cause them harm. The bill will now head to the Senate, but critics fear that it would make covering protests like this one, as well as documenting police brutality, much more difficult. Those in favour say it is necessary because of the targeting of police online during the Yellow Vest protests.
Hey everyone, it is Brian Lewis once again with the Benjamin Dixon Show, bringing you that daily news content from America and around the world. So solidarity with French activists right now in Paris and honestly around all of France itself, who are protesting the recent passage of the global security bill, which bans recording of police that can be deemed harmful to the police officer. So yesterday they were protesting really heavy, really strong, which, France is known for. France does that a lot, much more so than the United States and other parts of the world. And they even protested last weekend as well because of an issue dealing with dismantling of a migrant settlement. So take a look at this video here and I'll be right back to add a little bit more commentary.
It was a protest about how future protests will be covered. Thousands gathered in Paris on Saturday to oppose the global security bill currently being debated in Parliament. But Tuesday evening, the National Assembly voted in favour of the bill as a whole, having already approved its controversial Article 24, which would ban the publication of images of policemen with the intent to cause them harm. The bill will now head to the Senate, but critics fear that it would make covering protests like this one, as well as documenting police brutality, much more difficult. Those in favour say it is necessary because of the targeting of police online during the Yellow Vest protests.
The broadcasting and capturing of images, whether with a camera or by citizens on a phone, of policemen doing their jobs with their faces exposed, will still be possible. What will change is that any calls for violence or incitement of hatred that accompany such pictures will be sanctioned by the law.
Overall, the bill would make it easier for security forces to film ordinary citizens without their consent through body cams and police drones, for instance, while punishing those who publish images of policemen likely to cause them harm with a year in jail and a $53,000 fine. Critics say that it would make France an exception amongst democracies.
So I want to stop right there, and you already begin to see the problem that a bill like this would create. So it's perfectly fine to film police as long as the police are not doing something that'll make them look bad. That's pretty much what the intention is here. But if it's something that'll make the police look bad, or in their terms, in the way that they phrased it, cause potential bodily harm or anything that might get people upset, we're going to restrict that. We're going to make sure that that's not actually seen in the public. This includes not only cell phone footage, I'm assuming, but also security cam footage. And there was actually a black man, a music producer, if I'm not mistaken, who was recently beaten in France as well. So that's been added to a lot of the protests, if you look at a lot of the protests and why people are protesting. But I want to read this article here, or part of the article from the Associated Press. It says, and I quote, "Civil liberties groups, journalists, and people who have faced police abuse are concerned that the measure will stymie press freedoms and allow police brutality to go undiscovered and unpunished. Quote, we have to broaden the debate. And by that, we say that if there were no police violence, we wouldn't have to film violent policemen. Assa Traore, a prominent anti-police brutality activist whose brother died in police custody in 2016, told the Associated Press. She was among at least 46,000 people who packed the sprawling Republique Plaza and surrounding streets carrying red Union flags, French tricolor flags, and homemade signs denouncing police violence, demanding media freedom, or calling for the resignation of French President Emmanuel Macron or his tough-talking Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin. The crowd included journalists, journalism students, left-wing activists, migrant rights groups, and citizens of very political stripes, expressing anger over what they perceive as hardening police tactics in recent years, especially since France's Yellow Vest protest movement against economic hardship emerged in 2018. So what we see here is very similar to what we see in the United States and in the UK as well. Police are oftentimes used as forces to repress the public. But I want to show you this one last clip, and then I'll give you my last few comments about the situation.
Defenders of the bill say that it will still be possible for citizens and journalists to film and expose potential police brutality. But critics fear that the effect of the law could be to embolden police. They point to protests against the bill last week, when 33 people were taken in for questioning, with one journalist kept in custody overnight. And after the dismantling of a migrant camp in central Paris on Monday night, video posted online showed what appears to be people being chased by police, and in one video, a journalist on the ground surrounded by police with batons. Images the Interior Minister himself described as shocking.
So, as I was saying before the video, there's this whole mythology, not just in the United States, but around the world, of police being there and being necessary in order to protect the public from criminals, right? But we see countless examples in the United States, in the UK, in France, in Russia, in Mexico, in Brazil, in South Africa, in Nigeria, most recently with the #EndSARS hashtag. We oftentimes see police forces and security forces being used by the state to repress uprisings. This bill is obviously going to create a huge rift in the country, especially on the left, as you begin to see the French government crack down on attempts to expose police brutality. Police brutality and state violence is a very real fact and reality in this country. So, like I said, my name is Brian Lewis. Once again, solidarity to the activists and the left-wing protesters in France, and be on the lookout for my next video.